Okay, guys, making some progress on the Just Mopar Joe 540. Dangerous Donny sent us his unbelievably wonderful brand new Mopar M1. After taking a good look at it, I know why guys like this manifold so much. It's not really that tall. In fact, it's quite a low rise. But they did a good job designing this. My only real beef is there is no metal here to change this at all. The outside runners, which usually need more help than the inside runners, has a very, very tight, fast radius, and it's not very thick, maybe 3/8. Center ones, where it's doubtful you're going to need to add as much area, have a beautiful radius in. So what did we test today? We tested, this is actually the other head, this is completely stock, and we should probably talk about how much of a difference flow makes if the head isn't perfectly centered on the bore. Because I wasn't happy about the last flows I sent out, and I know I commented on it on the video that I thought it flowed a little high for what it was. Well, it was. Now, I have to thank Rob. He stopped by with a Mopar big block head gasket. It is 4.5 inch bore head gasket. That does make a difference. It's a little bigger than the head itself, and it's even a little bit bigger than my bore spacer, which is 4.375, which is what the bore on the big block this is going to go into. Sorry guys, I get off topic. So we tested through this runner, and I scoped it. Let's see if we can get some light. I don't know if you can see all the way down on these. You might just be able to see the corner of the other runner. This runner, but when I scoped the runner we flowed out of, which you can't see down, it's very close to where it needs to be. It just needs a little bit of matching. It's really very, very good out of the factory. As a matter of fact, why don't we take it off? We'll take a good look at the intake, and we'll compare the flow numbers that I got with this other head. Now, it is a different head than the last flow numbers you guys saw. But that really shouldn't matter a whole lot on a CNC head. It should be pretty close. And we'll see what differences we have as far as the flows and the air speeds. All right, just a quick look. This is 440 source max wedge intake gasket. It's a little on the fragile side, and Donnie, I'm pretty sure they won't survive, just FYI. But you can see they're pretty close on the head, just a little big. And you can see the manifold's a little bit smaller. If you guys know my work, you know I like the manifold a little bit smaller, maybe 30 thousandths all around, somewhere around that. Just to get a reference how thick 30 thousandths is, probably about as thick as your thumbnail. You can see the ports have a really nice curve. Yeah, there's some garbage in the ports. Let me turn off my LED lights. Sorry guys, that's not from my LED lights. That is from my Braun light that I have in there. Sorry. But you can see it's a really, really nice piece for what it is. And it will fit under his flat hood. So it's going to have this. It's going to have... We haven't finalized the size of the carburetor, but he does have a 950 he's sending. So that'll help. I'll be able to test it with a carburetor on. Okay, this is the flow numbers that come with the cylinder heads. And usually they are considerably expanded over what I really see on the bench. We'll see how they look this time. Things to pay attention to, okay? The size of the bore, which is very close to what I'm flowing it on. And this is through a 2-inch pipe. Okay, so all of mine should be lower than these, because these are all done through the pipe. Except I have one high lift that I did with a pipe. Okay, the one on the right you guys have seen last video, and this is the reflow. Let's put some pluses and minuses in. Okay, so this is what we had last time, and it obviously was not centered on the bore perfectly. Okay, this time, with a little help from Rob, we stuck the scope right down its throat and we took a good look. It's extremely close. Now, on a job like this, what I like to do is I actually like to build and bolt down some adjustable stops so I can take the head and put it right back on and get it to the exact spot. That's not set up yet, but I will be probably in the position it's in right now. So what do we got? We got minus, 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 minus. Okay, now the way we had it this way, we probably had less shrouding on that intake valve. Something to think about. I mean, we got some big changes. 369, 352. This is more reasonable. And what did they say it should get at 700? 334. Now, as far as those charts go, they may have had some reversions to that port and improved it over and not changed the flow test. That's possible. I did check the bench. It's right on the money. It's not that my bench is happy. Plenty of guys will accuse me of that. And Rob will back it up because I kept poking him on the shoulder and say, take a look at this. Right on the money. Okay, take a look at our swirls. Plus, plus, minus, minus, plus, 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 minus, minus, plus. Interesting, right? They're both pretty good curves. 700 plus, 224, 25. They're both good. They both take care of it. Now we should clarify that these are with 2.19 Ferreira's stock and 1.81 stock on a 1.76 seat. Okay? Now, it's funny, I've done that experiment where you take a seat and you flow it, and then you put a little bit oversized valve on it and flow it. Sometimes the flow will actually go up, which is interesting. Doesn't seem to make sense, but a lot of airflow doesn't make sense. Okay, it's pretty obvious what happened. Now, this was our first flow test where it was definitely offset a little bit, and this is much more accurate. Notice what happens, right? We had all minuses on our intake. We have all pluses on our exhaust. So we kind of know the bore was shifted a little bit. There may be not huge changes, and they weren't huge changes on the intake either, but it makes a difference. Actually, we had big changes when it came down to the higher flows. We had some serious changes. These aren't too far off, right? At 700 with 231.1, 232, with a 2-inch pipe, 276, 279. We didn't have that noise that we had here. We had some separation. Our third measurement down. We did have some separation. Let's take a quick look and we'll compare. I don't think we compared the airspeeds on the intakes. Let's do that now. Okay, this was the first test. So these numbers here are comparing to these. So these pluses and minuses are in reference to this. Minus, plus, minus, minus, minus. Notice how much more we lost here. Minus, minus, plus. So you can kind of get an idea. If it's not centered on the bore correctly, it's going to change the way our port is going to flow. It's going to make a difference. Okay, let's do the same thing on the exhaust. Let me put some pluses and minuses in. Okay, top sheet is our original flows. Bottom sheet with the pluses and minuses are our much better centered speeds. Plus, 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 minus, plus, 0. Totally died. Okay, that's important. minus, minus, minus. Check it from side to side. Dead even. Not bad at all. A little high on the center of the cylinder, but we expect that. Okay? Now remember, this is also flowing only a few CFM more. Literally 1 or 2 CFM more. Interesting how much different the speeds are. Okay, let's test the... Let's get rid of this. We're done with this. Now we're going to take these numbers. I didn't unbolt it from the bench. It's exactly in the same position. And then we bolted on the completely stock M1. Now when you're flowing an intake manifold, you got to tape off all the other runners you're not using, okay? And I just put a clay radius around it, and we sent it because I don't have a carburetor even close to being that big. So, obviously, they're all going to lose a little bit. Sometimes we get a little second degree freedom, but not in this case. But notice how it holds on. I mean, from 313 to 301, that is absolutely banging on a stock intake manifold. Okay? Now I'm going to do my balancing act on that. I'll take that intake and I'll set it up on the bench and I'll go through what it flows now. I'm willing to bet it's flowing 360, 365, maybe even more. Just the way it is right now, even before it's matched. Remember, it's a little bit smaller than our cylinder head at this point. But 300 CFM, actually it's 700, it's 313, okay? I also did our swirls. I didn't write it here, but those are our swirls. All right, try that again, because pause button got me. This is a first cut on the exhaust. You can see the seat actually has the slightest little lines in it. Sometimes stones will do that. It's not of a detriment right now, because as soon as you go to lap it, that'll come right out. You can see you got your top cut, which I haven't changed. I did have to move the seat out because it's a bigger valve now. So I also had to cut a deeper 60, and then what I wind up doing is I blend that all into the port and make a nice radius out of it, and I bring it right to the edge of the 45. It looks easy, I know. It may not be that easy to do it. Got a relatively fine polish. I can't stand the way fine polishes looks on camera. It never looks quite as good as a burr finish, I don't think. I mean, you have the slightest imperfection. That line is not straight. In any case, these haven't been flowed yet. I'll see if I can get to them this weekend. No guarantees though, because extremely hot to flow test. It was Weather Channel said it felt like 105 degrees in Florida, and I spent a lot of time outside today. I'm cooked. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Have a good night.